He's set to go. Here's Michael Peppercelli.
So it'll be Rowe and Bowman to get us started in the ruck. The umpire is going to bounce it here at Windy Hill. We'll see how long that lasts. Some rain expected to come later on in the day. Seckle through one tackle, got it away, and Rowe gets the first centre clearance for the Zebras. It's not a long one, but it is very high. Plenty of Bombers around it. Mayo was there for Sandringham. Now at ground level, untidy stuff, but eventually Laguda able to extract. Long ball inside forward 50. Clavarino needs to be good here. Hocking bears down on him. Gathers, gives it over the top to Gown, and the Bombers will get the first as easy as you like. Noah Gown into the open goal. Great work from Heath Hocking, and the Bombers get the first at Windy Hill.
We just saw the breeze really play an effect there. That kick into the forward line carried an extra probably 10 or 15 metres than the players were expecting, and the over the back, the Bombers were right onto it. Obviously train here and play here, and with the advantage of the wind in this first quarter, Sandringham need to lock down, particularly on those forwards that like to get over the back.
The Bombers have been affected by a couple of late changes. Michael Hartley moved up to the AFL team after a late change there, and we're seeing Heath Hocking, not originally named in the 20, I think it's 27 that get named.
That's right.
On the Thursday. Heath Hocking not originally part of that, but clearly out there today. Back in the middle, Bellman is the ruck for the Bombers. Hand pass just runs by Myers. This will be the first inside 50 today for the Zebras, but Stephen is caught behind that time. And the mark is taken by McNeese, who goes over the top looking for Tynan in the headwear today. Just a bit overcooked for him, but luckily out the back, Minot was there for the Bombers. So looking to take advantage of this fast starter, Essendon. Juggling mark at half forward by Baggerly. Left half forward for the Bombers. Attacking the primary scorelands in this opening term. He goes long and deep for the hotspot. Over the back, and another goal for Essendon. Finished by Josh Begley. And it's a very, very good start for the hosts at their spiritual home. 2 straight 12. Sandringham yet to score.
You can just see Aaron Hamill thinking that same thing I mentioned a moment ago. At the moment, the Bombers are clued on to be over the back. That ball is definitely carrying on the breeze. In fact, since we've done the preview 10 minutes out from the game starting, I'd say the breeze has picked up maybe an extra 2-goal advantage. So it might even be a 4-goal breeze now. It really has picked up in the last 5 minutes.
That primary school end, Adam, that left of screen, end of the ground, or eastern end of the ground, if you will, does tend to be the scoring end here at Windy Hill. You and I have called a lot of games here, and for whatever reason, even on a calm, still day, that end just tends to attract most of the scoring as the Bombers will go forward once again, this time through Heppel. Inside forward 50, big pack around it. Sandy have had a couple of defensive breakdowns so far. They won't want another one. Gown does well, eventually dispossessed. Still plenty of numbers around it. Umpire letting it go. Gown goes in again, gets it out. Not sure of the legality of that handball, but we're letting it go. Heppel again, and a nice pass into the pocket. Mark taken for Essendon.
And was disposed of afterwards too, Heppel on that occasion. Very lucky the Sandringham player. It's just impeded to see which Sandringham player that was, but was certainly taken high after kicking there. So Bombers get a shot at goal here from the tricky pocket. This is probably not the side to be kicking from. This breeze is pushing the ball to the left-hand side of the goals.
It is a difficult kick as Houlihan comes in. It's high and it's straight. So there you go, Healy making the breeze work for him. Very high kick indeed, but Houlihan kicks the goal and the Bombers out to the dream start. 3 straight 18. Sandy yet to score after 4 minutes.
Yeah, really hot start from the Bombers, and just talked to Aaron Hamill pre-game, and he emphasised the speed of the Bombers, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. They're a speedy outfit, coming off a loss last week, so they're out to a tone very early in this game.
Tynan Smith, 23rd man, comes sprinting back on. It's only his second game of the season. The first one was against Sandringham.
Back in round 7 that was, Adam. A 13-point win for the Bombers that day.
Kicked a goal in that game along with 5 disposals. We're back in the middle. He might be the Sandringham specialist, Peps. We'll see how he goes today. Bauman missed his handball. Seckel in the 0 Guernsey. We've seen Aaron Heppel get a couple of touches as well in the 0 Guernsey today. And Heppel is involved in this contest. Stephen picks up, but immediately tackled by Ham. Got a little kick away. It's pinballing around. Sandringham do get it back. Rowe, Stephen. Further wide, they've worked this one out well here, the Zebras. Phillips sends him inside 50. Mayo the target, D in front. D trying to juggle a mark. It went out of play at some point. Boundary throw in front of the leisure centre here at Windy Hill. It's a ground that doesn't get a hell of a lot of traffic. It's in relatively good condition. It is open to the public during the week. But it does hold up usually pretty well, this ground, especially when it does get a little wet. So the Bombers work this out of stoppage. Ball was intended for Union. Bounced away from him. Going back to fetch was Webster. Gave off his handball. White, underground ball. It's all red and black there, though. It's a hard footy to win. Brady Seckel with the tackle on Union. Myers goes in, picks up for the Bombers. Kick was smothered off the boot. Maybe a chance for Sandringham to break. Hayden's kick out wide. Look at the space here for Kai Owens. Picks up on 50. The chip over the top, and there was a loose target in the pocket. And the mark is taken by Darragh Joyce.
Just trying to bring himself around is Darragh. The umpire straight onto it.
Normally the pocket where you get protection from the Reynolds stand.
This kick, the way the wind is playing and certainly the way the players were warming up pre-game at that end of the ground, this kick should bend left to right, but you do get that little bit of protection, so you don't need to allow too much, certainly inside the left goalpost.
Darragh Joyce, this will be his 4th goal of the season. Hooked it badly, and it won't make the distance either. It won't even register a score. The mark was taken. There's a bomber down at Zerk Thatcher, and he's struggling to get up.
Has had injury troubles in recent times, Zerk Thatcher, but play goes on and the Bombers are streaming off half-back. Myers has it, centre square, caught in 2 minds. Gives it off to Union, short pass, good. Clean head there from Danny Union, but the mark not taken by Dixon. Chance for turnover here for Sandringham. They're doing it well. Now it's their turn to stream off half-back. Phillips to Young, had to reach behind him and got some high contact on the way from Long. Perhaps a professional free kick there from Jake Long, because that's allowed some of his teammates to rush back and make this a difficult kick for Robbie Young. Spots an option he likes out wide, and that's a good kick. Phillips has been busy early. Sends it long to the hot spot. Plenty of numbers there. But Jock, the one who read it best. Essendon free kick anyway. Matty D's ball. So Jock gets that. Intercept possession taken away from him, and the Bombers again wanting to work it off half-back by hand. Eventually the kick comes a little bit untidy, but Gown able to gather on the wing, and now Laguda has space. Spots a man running back towards goal. Kick. The wind has taken that one a long way across the face, though. Bagley able to keep it in. Couldn't quite get around his opponent. Summed it up nicely over the head of Jock. Team struggling just to deal with these blustery conditions at the moment. Hilly, as McNeese goes inboard, he's a good user. Laguda drops the footy though. Now a chance for Long. Hacked ball inside forward 50. Still attacking the Bombers. Sandy defence needs to be good here, but the turnover comes. Bagley again. So much going on inside forward 50. The Zebras are getting back, but working it out well here. The Bombers. How about Myers? Just misses with the check side.
Not far off though. Hayden coming off. He's a little hurt as well for Sandringham.
That would have been just about goal of the year so far on VFL Live.
So it was the win. Sorry, Michael. Glenn.
Yeah, it's just Hayden is coming off. He's just reached the bench at the moment. Just copped a high one. Mouth guard straight out. Just being assessed by the doctor.
A bad kick in here. Jock cuts it off for the Bombers. Doesn't want to have a shot, so he just lobs it for the top of the goal square. It hits ground level. Hard ball here. Union tried to extract it and get a kick away, but he missed his shot. and it's a minor score. Bombers move to 3-2-20. Sandringham still looking for their first score of the game, but I was going to say there, gents, even though it feels like the wind is picking up, it's actually starting to come through in our broadcast position up in the Cookson stand. Hilly, Sandringham have lifted a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly have. They're just steadied. They're getting some numbers back now and probably playing that game where they're going to be very defensive for the remainder of this quarter.
Missing his fist with the handball was Noon for Sandringham, but he'll win himself a free kick for high contact. And that'll just release the pressure valve for the Zebras at the moment.
Just clicking over 10 minutes. It's a long time to defend. You've obviously got to score.
Big fly at the back. Good mark taken there by Owens, and he wants to go immediately. Has a 1-on-2 forward of the ball. Not sure why he went. Dara Joyce always caught in a bad position there, and D able to take the mark for Essendon, and now Myers has it. Almost kicked a miracle goal before, and as you said, Hilly, great kick because Union was in a good position, and he just pops it in board for Ham. Bombers content to play the slow game at the minute. Myers once again has it at centre half back. Almost 11 minutes gone, 3-2-20 plays, no score here at Windy Hill. Home team doing all the scoring early as Gown paid the mark. In fact, Dixon just outside the centre circles, wants to go Lazaro. In fact, it is inside forward 50, looking for Dixon on that occasion, but Sandringham able to mop up through Marsh. Kick is an untidy one to a 2-on-2 situation. Eventually taken over the line by Carroll, and that probably a good result for Sandringham.
It certainly is, Peps. Just need to chew up a little bit of clock here. Essendon have been so impressive in this first 10 minutes, and as I said, it's a long time to defend for, say, the next 20 minutes, but they really need to knuckle down.
Sandringham looking to win the clearance. Answorth goes into the turf, though. Umpire crosses his arms. Heath Hocking, the tackler. A few afters as well between he and Kate Answorth. Umpire throws it up. Bellman and Rowe, the ladder, tried to grab it out of the ruck and kick, but got interrupted on the way through. Then Brady Seckle.
Great smother there from Heath Hocking.
Holds up Minot. Another ball up. Cookson side wing. Out to Union. Gets a wobbler up towards 50. It's a very good mark. The man in front taken by Webster. He will look to get the switch going toward the outer side here for the Zebras. Ends up in the hands of White. Long kick toward the wing. That's where we get the contest. Zerk Thatcher went up. Mayo at ground level does well. Hand pass out wide. Laguna lays the tackle. Good pressure defensively by the Bombers. That's why we see Sandringham still scoreless here after 12 and a half minutes. Essendon 3-2-20 on Hard Jackets, Huddly Workwear, VFL Live.
If you've just joined us, they've kicked the first three of the game, have the Bombers.
Oh, very early too, Michael.
They've looked pretty good in doing so, that's right. Probably 6 or 7 minutes those 3 goals came. Since then, the Zebras have evened it up a bit as the ball's worked towards half forward, but again, Essendon with all the numbers. Begley's handball a little untidy. Eventually goes in again, but free kick given away.
Just holding the man on that occasion.
Robbie Young with the footy for the Zebras. Wants to bite off the switch kick. Not the worst idea, and Webster has it. Made his return from a long injury layoff last week, and he'll get a 50-metre penalty because Lazaro was in the protected area.
Well, that's certainly worked out well because I think that switch kick was not meant by Robbie Young to switch so far back, but the breeze got it and hit a target, and now the 50-metre penalty results in a shot on goal.
No score in his return game last week, Jimmy Webster. This kick not at all beyond him, and with the breeze going against him, he puts it through. Welcome back to footy, Jimmy Webster.
Yeah, that, if you've got any nerves coming back, that certainly settles them a goal early, and one that Sandringham desperately needed because the Bombers have been on top. But as you said, just in the last 5 minutes or so, they're starting to get their hands on the footy a little bit more, certainly tightened up defensively. So good result there for the Zebras.
Round and grounds, North Melbourne and Box Hill going head-to-head at Arden Street, 1-2-8. The Kangaroos lead the Hawks 1-1-7. Curtis Taylor and Vinny Aducci are the goal kickers in that one so far. Not far away from the first bounce between the the Tigers and the Demons. How can I make that mistake when the Bombers are right in front of me, Michael? Back in the middle. Bounce was straight enough. Sandringham do get the clearance. McNeese just doing that, playing that sweeping role very well so far today, gathering a lot of ball. We've got a ball up. That's centre half forward or thereabouts for Sandringham.
Didn't like that handball, Hilly?
No, just set his teammate up. Just instinctively handball without looking then.
Rowe trying to soccer it out of the congestion. Eventually Ham did pick up and cleared away, only as far as Webster. The goal kicker. The switch for Jonathan Marsh, and now Sandringham towards half forward. The man in front, but unable to take the mark there. Was Seaton. Which way is the call going here? A push for Jack Mayo.
Very lucky to get that free kick. It looked to clear, holding the ball on that occasion. Umpire thought otherwise.
Too far out to score here is Mayo. He's going to go onto the left foot. High ball toward the top of the square. A lot of red and black there, Zerk. Thatcher went up, didn't bring it down. Joyce with the tackle. And then a secondary tackle to hold things up from Begley. We've got another stoppage. Top of the square here for the Zebras, who have been good in the last 10 minutes after conceding 3 very early goals. The tap down was won by Rowe, but Seckle lost it on the way through. Bauman picked up. Zerk Thatcher. Laguda under pressure. Heppel does very well. Bombers have worked this out nicely by hand, and now a great release handball by Hocking. But Houlihan coughed it up, turns it over, back with Webster. Inside 50, Zerk Thatcher reading it in flight. Got the fist and knew where his teammate was. Long. The kick is intended here for Riley Ham. Picked up the bouncing ball in front of the scoreboard here. Goes on to the left. High ball to centre wing. Bagley goes up. No ball brought down. Marsh hand pass off. Answorth. Cross half back for Sandringham. And that's a good ball. The mark is taken by Batchelor.
Wants to give it off immediately and does to Callum Jones. Now Stephen takes on Laguda before finding a short target in Thomas. Right in front of our broadcast position here at Windy Hill. Thomas goes short to Stephen. That kick only travelled about 8. Stephen rightfully called to play on. And he handballs for the safety of the boundary line without being pinged. 17 minutes gone, opening term. 3-2 plays 1 straight. After the first 7 or 8 minutes, this game has really evened up. Sandringham taking it right to the fancied Bombers as Rowe thumps that one out of the air. And
free kick.
It just pitched in play, but called deliberate anyway, Hilly.
Just pitched in play, but certainly gave nobody a chance to get that one.
It'll be Myers' ball on centre wing. He's a long kick at the best of times, let alone with this breeze, but read nicely in flight by Marsh, and he takes a good defensive mark. Finds White at the top of the defensive goal square.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Jock move forward for the Bombers. They're just lacking a little bit of height there. Sandringham have got a lot of key backs that have got some significant size, and wouldn't be surprised if Jock is swung forward, especially when they're kicking with the breeze.
Batchelor towards centre wing. Seaton crumbing. Eventually just hacked out of there for the Zebras. It'll bounce in play, still going at left half forward. And a good result because it's bounced out of bounds without being deliberate. So a chance for the Zebras to reset. Not too far from time on now in this opening term. 18 and a half gone. They lead it by 14 points to the Bombers as Jock and Owens go at it in the ruck. Essendon clearance, but won't be coming straight back. Hill spilled the beans on the mark. Now Webster to mop up. Gives it back, and the Zebras can reset all the way inside defensive 50.
So Noon wants to switch to Batchelor. Another late change on Friday for the Zebras. Fox has some time to regather after not taking the mark, and a nice little chip over the top finds Ed Phillips. Front of the Sandringham bench here at Windy Hill.
They go down the line here.
Does just that. Not far away from our man Glenn Hill, boundary side. Hocking keeps it in play. Hand pass off. D. Zerk Thatcher. Had Long or Ham. Ham went to Long. Left half back toward the middle of Windy Hill. Intended for Bagley. Did sit for him in the end after Hill overrun it. And brought down in the tackle was Tynan Smith, the Sandringham specialist, and the umpire crosses his arms. Hilly, did you get a chance to walk through the middle of the ground pre-game? Because from here, the centre wicket here at Windy Hill is the best I've ever seen it at this time of year.
It's looking fantastic. It's certainly nice and firm, and the guys should have no troubles. Very green. The pitch.
How hard is it?
The pitch area, obviously, we had sections replaced at the end of the cricket season, and it took a little while, obviously, to sew in, and we had some trouble with bouncing earlier in the year from the umpires, but it's in fantastic condition for this time of year.
It's definitely the best I've ever seen it, as McNeice, nice little kick out wide, and did find Dixon. Bombers looking to attack. It goes over the head and out of bounds. Boundary throw in at the point of 50.
Sandringham have done really well here. We talked about it at the 10-minute mark. It's a lot of time to chew up, but yeah, they have chewed up 10 minutes of clock time and managed to score a goal themselves in that period of time. So they've done extremely well the last 10 minutes.
Given the conditions, despite the start, Healy, you'd almost, if the score stays like this at quarter time, you'd give the quarter to Sandringham almost, which is remarkable given how blistering Essendon's start was. So Stephen kick was intended for Brady Seckle. Mayo's had a fair bit of it early. Rushed his kick toward half forward. D fumbles. Ooh, then collides, and the Sandringham man never had the ball. So it will be a free kick for the Zebras to be taken by James Ziller. Dad loved play on the outer wing. We know that. Seaton there for the Zebras. There's a famous run in the 97 grand final. Ball up.
Into time on here. 21 and a half minutes gone. Ball up. Just short of half forward for the Zebras. Jock barely got his fist to it in handballing it away. Now Stephen can create. Gives it off to Phillips. Wants to release his teammate in Ziller. Wasn't able to, but eventually did pick it up. Now a chance to go inside 50. Owen's ball is a high one. Zerk Thatcher best placed though. And he's able to repel for Essendon.
I think he's one of the most improved players in the VFL, Zerk Thatcher. Really, really like his game. We've been lucky enough to see the Bombers quite a few times this year, and he just impresses me every time.
Has been a good player for them. Ham's kick to a 3-on-2 in favour of the Zebras. Doing okay here are the two Bombers players in Begley and Union, but eventually the numbers prevail, and Webster, who's been busy so far, that was disposal number 9, and he finds Brandon White on centre wing. Another one who's had plenty of it early. Short lead offered by Hayden, but elects to go longer instead. D in best position, takes the mark at left half back.
Those long high kicks, Sandringham just not learning to get in front and expect the ball to drop short.
So the ball goes through the middle. Noon taken high by Hairpole. Umpire saw that. Free kick.
Very stiff. He went to fend off and then seemed to lose either his footing or duck on that occasion. Very stiff there, the Bombers.
Jock affects the contest. And here's Zerk Thatcher. Hand pass off. Bombers do work it out nicely in the end. Their use by hand has been very good. McNeice, effective kick toward half forward. Mark taken by Begley. Bagley or Houlihan, the latter takes the mark. And he can have a shot directly in front for the Bombers' 4th.
Well played by Bagley there. Just knew to pull out of that contest, not spoil his teammate. And Houlihan well positioned and should goal from here, directly in front. Breeze will bend this one right to left, but he's a pretty classy player as Houlihan, so I expect him to pop this one through.
He's been pretty effective in front of goal this year, has 19 to his name. And this would be his second of the day as well. Jordan Houlihan pokes at it from 35, kicks on the way, goal umpire won't move. Another 6 points for the Bombers. 4-2-26, leading by 20. Sandringham, 1 straight 6 as we approach quarter time.
And it was a long time.
On Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear, VFL Life. Had to get the sponsor in there, Hilly.
Sorry about that. It was a long time between drinks. Nearly 20 minutes since they've kicked a goal, the Bombers. So Sandringham have done extremely well. It was the first 6 minutes of play. that they piled on the first 3 goals, and since then Sandringham have really held this well. They've held the game together here, kicking into a really strong breeze now.
Around the grounds, Box Hill leading North Melbourne over at Arden Street by 13 points. 4-3-27 plays 2-2-14. I know the Kangaroos had the better of that AFL matchup last night. Box Hill looking to get a little bit of revenge. Back in the middle, Seckles' kick smothered. Hocking ripped it out of the congestion. Not really to any great advantage though. Batchelor now has to do some work. McNeese with him. And we get a stalemate. 4-2-26 plays 1 straight 6. Hard Yakka totally workwear VFL Live. Round 18 action. Bombers a chance to shore up a top 2 position as the kick comes towards half forward there from Hill for Sandringham, but all Essendon and able to clear. Kick inside forward 50. Houlihan caught in front by his opponent. Doing well, though, was Claverino, and now Marsh can use his pace to get away. Wobbles it towards centre wing. Seaton does okay, and happy to see it out of play in front of Laguda. Approaching 26 minutes gone. You get the feeling Aaron Hamill will have to be happy with how his team's gone about it in this first term. Odds stacked against it with the breeze. As we get a free kick for a shove in the ruck. That'll go to Sam Rowe.
Really disappointing. You're in a really attacking position here at half forward for the Bombers. Just give away a cheap one like that. Dan Jordan wouldn't be too pleased.
Joyce had it thumped away from him by Zirk Thatcher. And holding the ball, free kick going to Dara Joyce, and a chance maybe for the Zebras to pinch a late one. Bombers do well to get back in numbers though, make this kick a difficult one, so instead Joyce just goes for the switch. And now White gets it, goes for a bit of a run, looking for Hayden inside. Fox got a hand to it as well, but they just need to lock it in here, the Zebras, and that's exactly what they do. Trail by 20 points. I'd love to snag one just before quarter time to go into the second term with some momentum and with that scoring end as well as gone backwards here, conceded a lot of ground. Hill one way then the other, just puts it on the boot and hopes for the best. Joyce does well to get it to ground with D there for company. Taken and hacked out of mid-air by Joyce. And that would have had to have been a miracle to go through. It didn't. Wasn't too far off though, and the Zebras get their first minor score of the afternoon. Margin back to 19 points.
So the quarter time siren won't be far away. We are bracing ourselves for that because we are very close to the siren here, Michael. Effects Mike is virtually right next to it.
Oh, great mark.
Very, very good mark taken. The only man that went up was Braden. Noah Gown, that is. And that is the quarter time siren. Pretty good quarter by the Bombers, but they did have the breeze. 4-2-26.
For us, but yeah, we need to make the most with the breeze this quarter.
Thanks for your time on VFL Live. Thanks, Aaron.
Cheers. Thanks.
Great work, Hilly. Ready to get the second term underway with Aaron Hamill Zebras trailing by 19 points. And they've given away a free kick straight away from the restart. It'll be Riley Bowman's ball. Brought into the side this week with the Bombers facing a ruck injury crisis at AFL level, which of course has filtered down to the VFL team as well. But he's turned it over to Jimmy Webster, who was the Zebras' leading disposal winner in that first term with 10. That'll be number 11, and now Seckle has it just inside the centre square. Doesn't have too many short options, so just goes long. All the Bombers are back there. They need to revise their ball movement going inside forward 50, the Zebras. Hilly mentioned it a couple of times in that first term. The long high ball not really working. The Bombers have some quality interceptors back there, and now it'll be an Essendon free kick at left half back. Ball towards centre wing. Gown in front. Had it punched away from him, but Bombers had the numbers at ground level. Union's always exciting when he gets some space. Sends it inside forward 50 with the outside of the boot. Lazaro there, so too Hill. And Hill runs it over for the Zebras.
Really smart play there by Hill. Didn't want to take that ball too early in the contest. He took it only a metre or so inside the boundary line and accepted the tackle. Really smart play.
Try and get some of those stats coming through as well as soon as we get, well, perhaps a goal. So throw in, Bombers in attack here. Marsh doesn't clear away, so this might be a dangerous one for the Sandringham back six to navigate. That ball was well out of bounds. And it's going to be coming back now. So a boundary throw-in inside 50.
So we mentioned Jimmy Webster, leading disposal winner for the Zebras, Adam. He's got 11 and was just robbed of number 12 there. But Phillips and White also busy for Sandringham. They've had 8 disposals apiece. Jono Marsh and Jack Stephen with 7 each.
Both senior coaches coaching from the benches today. A couple of assistants are up in the stands. Ball's on centre wing here. Zerk Thatcher overruns it. Had Joyce for company who wanted to play some soccer. There is a free kick, a hold, going Bruno Laguta's way. Overcooked his kick though, rushed it and turns it over inboard. Not a great decision that one. The mark taken by Young. Robbie Young onto the left he goes, inside 50. Kai Owens the target. Ball just kept on carrying. Hayden had a bounce away from him. D has to get around Fox, does pick up. Bad handball though for Myers. Hayden tries to feed Batchelor. Batchelor goes further back. Rose under pressure. Great don't argue though. Now Noon. He's going to be brought down. Good tackle, Bagley. Some hot footy there inside 50 for the Zebras, but we've got a ball up.
It's some really good tackling from the Bombers. They just applied themselves there and didn't let Sandringham get too loose.
So Jayden Laverde's about to enter the fray here. Was doing some warm-ups during the quarter-time break. And pass comes out here. Bauman looking for Jock. Batchelor hot on his heels. Now Unit. Stephen slings him down. Heppel, standing start toward the wing. No mark was taken there by Gown. Took a great mark, Noah Gown, in the opening term. Ball's in the hands of Marsh here for the Zebras. Right half back for Sandringham. Goes down the line. Bowls club side of Windy Hill. Again, the ball carries. Rowe was out the back, unmanned. Took it uncontested, Hilly.
Yeah, he found the 2-on-1 on that occasion and full well knowing the breeze back kicked at 60.
Owens goes for the fly. No mark taken. Mike Crummy's own ball, but Newton got in his way. And then it's socket off the ground. Has that gone 15? It has. D paid the mark.
He's been a wall across half-back for the Bombers so far, Matty D, as he goes across the face of goal for Braden Ham. Right back pocket for Essendon. That kick is high and will hold up in the breeze. Suits Marsh to a tee. They're getting back in numbers, the Essendon defenders. Marsh just puts it to a spot and tells his forwards to run to it. Mark almost taken, but now a chance for Essendon off half-back. Begley to Lazaro. He was lined up by Noon, and the turnover's affected. Marsh again inside 50. Chaos ball. Stephen was waiting for it out the back. Healy, as you said. Ball didn't quite get to him, though. Zerk Thatcher wrapped up. And we get a stoppage inside forward 50 for Sandringham.
It was a really good spoil there for the Bombers because that was a certain goal over the back with nobody staying down for the Bombers on that occasion. So the spoil was just exceptional.
5 minutes gone, second term. Bombers lead it by 19 points, and they'll clear defensive 50 here through Begley. Dropped an easy mark, but then was able to gather his own crumb and send it towards half forward. Sandringham free kick, though. It'll be Hill's ball. Spots Fox on centre wing, and that's where he goes with the kick. Kick in board, not a great option. Had a great game last week, did Fox, but it's been quiet so far today. Still a chance to go inside forward 50, the Zebras, but Ainsworth never really had full control of it, and perhaps rather lucky he was already over the line before he kicked it.
I think the boundary umpire there on that occasion has made the wrong call. That looked to be a kick out in the full. Inside. The kick came from inside the field of play, and he signalled out of bounds, but then signalled as if it was out in the full. So I think he might have got a bit confused there.
On the straight boundary line here at Windy Hill, which can often catch out players, commentators and umpires alike, but All clear, calls the umpire, and now Phillips for Sandringham sends it towards half forward. Minot at ground level. Shot it out to Myers at the back. He just put it on the boot and hoped for the best. Houlihan did well in the contest with Marsh. And the latter lays a tackle on Tynan Smith, the 23rd man for the Bombers, and we'll get a stoppage in front of our broadcast position.
Just forward of centre wing for the Bombers. No change to the score we had at quarter time, and the quarter's almost 7 minutes old. Ham sends Essendon inside 50. Bagley's going to pick up this one. He's under some pressure though from Claverino. Hocking came to help. Scored it over the line by Houlihan. In front of the main race for the Bombers, underneath the Reynolds stand. Umpire to bring this in. Has the wind died down a little bit, Hilly?
No, it certainly hasn't. So
not on ground level anyway.
It's been a good effort from the Bombers to hold Sandringham to no score here.
So we're still waiting for the first score of the quarter here. Apart from that blistering start by the Bombers where they kicked 3 goals within the space of the first 5 or 6 minutes, not much has happened since. Houlihan gets a snap. There is the first score of the quarter. It's a minor one after the wayward snap across the face. 4-3-27 Essendon, Sandringham 1-1-7.
Interesting to see how they bring this footy back in. Obviously kicking with a really strong breeze. So they go long or pinpoint a pass?
They go long, Hilly. Noon was the one who kicked it. Cleared the pack, in fact. Joyce just couldn't handle it. And now it's dangerous for Sandringham. Ham towards forward 50, skewed off the side of the boot. Begley was up to the task, though, but he's turned it over. And now the Zebras a chance to counter-attack. Ball out wide, taken by Thomas. Has Rowe streaming back towards goal. Needs to get on his bike. Ball towards him. Zerk Thatcher, though, does really well to get a fist to that and thump it out of play.
The kick just wasn't to the right space there. He's obviously trying to get it over the back, but you really need to keep that ball more centred towards the goals. He had position there, the Sandringham forward, but unfortunately the kick was more to the lead rather than to the grass it should have been.
Boundary throw in a dangerous position here for the Bombers' defence. Laguda got it out to D. He's had a really good game so far. His kick, though, just carried in the breeze and carried, well, to his right and out of bounds on the full. It's going to be a free kick to Callum Jones, the Zebras' 23rd man this afternoon. He just puts it high and long. Rowe there through his fingertips. And then Joyce forced to lay the tackle at ground level.
Again, just playing that pocket. The dangerous spot at this ground is certainly centred towards the goals, and if you can crumb one out the front of the goals, you're a good chance to score.
Bombers just flicking it around. Myers has started this second term with a flurry. He's up to 18 disposals now. That one, not his best effort though, out in the full. The kick came under some pressure. Free kick taken quickly for Sandringham, and Fox will get a free kick and a chance for a shot at goal.
Certainly a well-deserved free kick there. Led hard for the footy. Copped some front-on contact and some chopping of the arm. So certainly deserves a free kick. And let's see if he uses the wind perfectly here. We need to aim this one at probably just outside right goalpost, and it should bend back on the breeze.
Having an outstanding season for the Zebras is Sam Fox. 17 goals, 14. This is a big kick for the Zebras just to give them a chance, and he's miscalculated the breeze totally, and that one's out of bounds on the full.
He's kicking with a really strong breeze there, and he tried to really put the leather into that one, and just probably the wrong option. You just got to kick through the footy and worry about your technique and keeping your accuracy.
McNeese, and Gown drops the mark, and it was fisted out of his hands by Owens. Boundary throw in.
Underway at the Swinburne Centre, Adam. 15 minutes into that opening term. Richmond 2-1-13, leading the Demons, 1 behind.
Spinning ball back into play here. Owens tried to put it down to Stephen, but he was just worried out of that ball by Bagley. Owens then fumbles. Stephen goes in for a second dip. Kick won't penetrate low. We're still outside 50. Spills out of play once more.
Bombers have done extremely well here to hold Sandringham to no score through nearly 12 minutes of this quarter. Really phenomenal effort from the Bombers. They're kicking with such a strong breeze, Sandringham.
Ball comes back into play. Left it behind there, did Ham. Cleared away by Long, and you can see the ball just drift back toward the Sandringham goal. Joyce goes inboard. Nice ball for Mayo. And he can boot this long, and the ball will just carry all the way to the top of the square here. No mark was taken. That might be Rowe that's down just behind play here at the moment. Bombers looks to clear out. It's coming back in though. Mayo takes the mark once more.
And certainly can kick this one.
He's thinking about it, Jack Mayo.
He can kick the distance.
There was something better on offer. The lead came. No mark taken by Joyce. Tynan. Long. That's a very high tackle there. Stephen a little sloppy there on Dixon. And a free kick for the Bombers.
Very lucky not to give away 50 either. Silly to remonstrate afterwards when you've just given the free kick away. Oh, that's definitely down the ground. Wouldn't be surprised if he's taken off here.
So what's happened here is Dixon wanted to get his kick away. Stephen came off the line and actually put him onto the deck. No 50. Laguda for Jock. Might have jumped a little early for that ball. Comes out to Answorth. Mayo gets another touch. He was on his right foot, so he wanted to go by hand instead. Zilla's handball misfires, and it's over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Just playing a little angry, Jack Stephen. Just been out of the play a little bit. Probably angry his team haven't created some more opportunities this quarter, but just needs to get his hands on the footy.
Still 4 goals to 1 here. And Owens kicks toward the top of the square. We should get a chance here for a second goal for the Zebras. Mark taken by Rowe.
Really poor checking on that occasion from the Bombers. Sam Rowe just literally sitting there by himself near the top of the goal square. His opponent 3, 4, 5 metres away. Wasn't ready for the quick kick. It almost looks like a certain goal from that range.
Pretty accurate this year in front of goal, Sam Rowe. 7 goals, 2. From 25 metres, this should be Sandringham's second. It is. 2-1-13, Zebras, Bombers, 4-3-27 on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear, VFL Live. That's 14 minutes into the second term.
That footy's certainly left the building. We'll just get the replacement footy back in play.
So the first goal of the second term comes 14 minutes in. Sam Rowe back into the lineup this week after missing last week's game against the Casey Demons. Puts it through, and the few Zebras fans who have made the journey to Windy Hill are pretty happy about it. There aren't too many of them though. You wouldn't have known if you're listening. Back in the middle. Stephen off to White. And now Seaton off half back. In fact, it was Jones. Just kick it towards half forward and let Fox run onto it. Did well to get around Laguda. Now a chance. Jones back towards Phillips. He's taken down in a nice tackle by D.
There's not a lot of opportunities, D, at AFL level in the last 12 months, but certainly can still play at that level if given the opportunity.
Very consistent performer at VFL level. Hilly just a little bit down the pecking order at Essendon. As we get a free kick going Stevens' way now. Left half forward. Too far out to score, and he just pokes it in board for Webster. Had a man leading out towards the fat side. Kick goes in that direction now. Rowe's there, he'll fly. So too Long. He got a fist to it for Essendon. Phillips left the footy behind, then gave the handball out to Carroll. That kick will come back, but not quite enough. And through for a minor score, 2-2-14 now, the Zebras, trailing the Bombers by 13 points.
Just a bit of a pitching wedge on that occasion, wasn't it? Just didn't kick through the footy. I think he could just give himself one more step there. A scoring opportunity for the Zebras.
D to McNeese, to Heppel, to Bauman. Almost on centre wing now for Essendon. Hawkins next in the chain. Just making sure the mark is set correctly. Goes in board for Tynan. Right foot ball towards half forward. Union's in a good spot to take the mark. Good passage so far. All hitting the target at the moment, the Bombers, and Laverty is unmanned inside 50. A great kick by Union. That's how it's drawn up in the textbook, Hilly. Kick mark, kick mark, kick mark, and if Laverty converts, it's almost a perfect coast-to-coast play.
That's the way to play this ground. When you're kicking into the breeze, that long ball in is just crazy. It's just 6-7 blokes up. Very hard to take a mark. You're much better on the lead. Laverty, a smart footballer, in the
Maybe
right
a
spot.
35-degree angle, 25 metres out, and he has no trouble. Does Jayden Laverty. Local product out of Keilor, 5-3-33, 2-2-14. R. Sandringham, 17.5 minutes into the second term.
He's a classy footballer. He's Jayden Laverty, and it's great to see him on the scoreboard. And he'll be pushing his case to get back into that senior AFL team in the not too distant future.
Around the grounds, Box Hill leading North Melbourne by 18 points, and Richmond leading the Casey Demons by 13 points. So a couple of teams in the top 8 handling business against teams in the lower reaches of the ladder so far, and the same thing happening here at Windy Hill. Essendon leading the Zebras by 19 points. 7 straight losses for the Zebras. As White lays a strong tackle on Hocking, and perhaps a little jumper punch to go with it afterwards. Perhaps lucky the umpire was blindsided there, Hilly.
Yeah, he certainly was. Should have been a free kick. It's a shame the other umpires didn't pick up on that one, but the central field umpire was blindsided.
They'll go forward anyway, the Bombers. Bagley plays the 1-2 with Tynan. Works his way around one tackler, then wanted the 1-2 with Bowman, but the Zebras did well to disrupt. Now White, who's been one of their best, just pumps it long, and that's what you need to do with the breeze. Rowe takes the mark.
Just smart footy there. Use that breeze. Get your full forward one out. Get him to read the play, and that's exactly what Sam Rowe has done. He's read that ball coming in long, got out the back, out-positioned his opponent, and from almost exactly the same position as before, 25 metres out directly in front, you'd expect him to slot this one and draw the Zebras back to within 2 goals.
So for his second, and to bring the margin back to 13 points, Rowe comes in and makes no mistake from directly in front. They're not going to make it easy for the Bombers today, Sandringham. They move to 3-2-20. Essendon 5-3-33, almost time on second term.
He's played a lot of footy down back as Sam Rowe, but he looks at home in the forward line.
And you can just tell he's an experienced AFL player, can't you, Hilly? So often, he's the one always reading the ball best in flight, whether it's against the breeze or with the breeze. He's the one who seems to know where that drop zone is.
Yeah, he's a really smart footballer, and obviously he's played a lot of full-back, and those one-on-ones, he knows how to position himself and read the play perfectly. He's playing the right position for this quarter.
Half-time today, we'll hear from Megan Jones from the TAC. TAC towards 0 round. The 2 zeros are on each other at the moment at this centre bounce. Heppel and Seckel. And here is Heppel giving the hand pass off to Ham. We're inside 50 for Essendon. Just bowled his man over there. Did Smith, gets it now. Got tackled immediately. Phillips, he's held up in a strong tackle as well. It went out of play at some point. Boundary throw in. Just on the outskirts of 50 here for the Bombers. Leading by 13 points on Hijacker. Totally Workwear VFL Live. Into time on of the second term. Owens in the ruck against Jock. Myers feeds it out to Heppel. Little worm burning pass. It clean bowls a couple. Laverty out the back. Just fumbled. And then Noon's put into the deck. Was he pushed in the back, maybe? Free kick for Sandringham.
Was a push in the back.
Yeah, it certainly was.
A little slow to get up as well, Jack Newt. Has the ball now for the Zebras. Looking to get things moving toward the outer side here. Over the head of Owens. Big fist by D to kill it off. We've got a boundary throw in. Halfway between centre wing and the 50 here. Right in front of the scoreboard. Umpire to throw it in. Owens. Second overrun it. Heppel there as well. We'll have another ball up.
Bombers have made this quarter very in tight, not allowing a lot of space around the stoppages. It's just suiting them at the moment.
It's a very hard ball to extract here at the moment. Goes out of play.
Do you think that might have been a directive from Dan Jordan, Hilly, with the breeze going against them in this second term?
Yeah, certainly I'd say he's demanded his team plays nice and tight, especially around the stoppages, and you can just see them around their opponents at the moment. Certainly a lot of skin on skin, so they're working hard to keep this ball in, and they want to be the team that breaks here.
Finally, it's extracted. Ball goes inside 50. Marsh can't take the mark. Laverty trying to push him out of it as they both race for the ball. Eventually, the ball just popped up. Noon. Hand pass off to White. Clings away for Sandringham. Number of players go up. No mark was taken. Eventually, winning it out of the contest there was Thomas. Open 50. Kicks on the way. Bouncing. Bouncing sideways. Boundary throw in.
Yeah, it's a tough one there. You've got the breeze at your back and you're thinking, oh, can I carry it over the back? Can I get there from 65, 70? On that occasion, with that many players running alongside him, but maybe the handball to the left and just get the loose chain of handballs going, try and generate a shot from inside 50 might have been the way to go.
The positive for the Zebras is that it's a boundary throw-in instead of a behind, but they've given away a free kick in the ruck contest. Joyce infringing on Jock on that occasion. And he just pokes it wide for Unan. A long way from his traditional position. He just kicks it high outside defensive 50, held up in the breeze and tailor-made for Callum Jones in the end, who might just be able to go the journey here. He's not going to have a crack. He's going to pop it up. Rose there. He'll get up. Whistle.
Push.
Sandringham free kick.
Yeah, I think one of the Essendon defenders there, it might have been Zirk Thatcher, used one of his opponents as a bit of a leverage to get high there, and went one-handed for the mark, and the other hand might have been firmly on the back or shoulder of his Sandringham opponent.
So it'll be Joyce's ball. He'll be kicking from the top of the square. Kicked a couple of goals last week, and he's one that's been shifted from the back line to the forward line. And he puts it through on this occasion. Sandy are closing in, 4-2-26, trailing Essendon 5-3-33. We're in the shadows of halftime.
You can smell the upset here today, can't you? The Zebras have just been fantastic since about the 5-6 minute mark of the first quarter, where they allowed 3 quick goals to start the game. Since then, they really have had plenty of football, controlled the contest a lot more, kept the ball in tight when they've needed to, and then broken and used the breeze to their advantage in this quarter. So they've done a really good job here against such a formidable Bombers lineup. They're right in this.
Good bounce to replay start back in the middle by Tom Lyon. Stevens tackle holds things up just forward of the centre here for the Zebras. They can get another goal and the margin will be a point.
Just setting up really well around the contest too, the Zebras.
Phillips, he's put into the deck by Myers. That's not coming out. High volume of stoppages today here at Windsor Hill. Contested game of football. Close game of football. That one's fell over in the ruck contest. Ball was hacked away for the Bombers toward half forward. Marsh back there for Sandringham. Somehow skittled its way through to Stephen, but he did fumble. Socket it forward. Hayden releases Answorth. We're inside 50. Ball eluding Zilla. He collides with McNeese, who collided with Rowe. Had to get his hand pass out. A lot of congestion around this ball here. Bombers defending well, though. Hayden has to lay a tackle here. Eventually Zilla. Fox the snap. And Sandringham within a point. 5-2-32. Essendon 5-3-33. We're approaching half time on Hardjack. It's Totally Workwear VFL Live.
Really good positioning there on the snap and worked the ball back beautifully. Just kept it low. Fantastic goal for the Zebras, and within a point. And as I said a few moments ago, you can really sniff an upset at the moment. They're just digging in really well around the contest, set up well defensively, and they've controlled the Bombers this quarter.
Well, with both sides having had the breeze now, it looks like we're going to get a delicately placed game heading into half-time. Just 1 point the margin in favour of Essendon. Around the grounds, Box Hill by 17 points over North Melbourne, and Richmond have kicked out to a fast start, leading 33-7 after one quarter. As we restart play, Stephen tracking the footy but not able to get to it. Had to lay the tackle instead, and we'll get a ball up. Looks like Dixon's running with Stephen. Those two had a couple of interesting moments earlier in this second term. Jack Stephen not liking some of the attention he's been given as Bagley weaves his way through some traffic, then ran into trouble, got himself out of trouble by handballing it 20 metres backwards, and the Bombers can reset. Union through some traffic, sends it out wide. Interesting option, doing well not to infringe there with Zilla. Now D needs to be quick, and is, and it's back with Union. Mark not paid.
It's front arm contact.
Should have been a free kick, as you heard Glenn Hill say, but now the Zebras are streaming through the middle. Sweeping handball out to Stephen. This is not beyond him. The kick is long, it's high, and it's offline. Disappointing end to that passage for Sandringham. Scores a level approaching half-time.
Tynan has it for the Bombers. This has been some response by Sandringham. Hocking had the ball go over his head. Webster gave it to a man that wasn't really expecting it there in white. Laverty. Claverino couldn't make the tackle stick. Union that don't argue. That was effective. We've got a one-on-one at the top of the square here. Front position, Noon. Was he infringed upon by Begley? Umpire says yes. Noon quickly gets the hand pass off. Claverino down in back play near the Essendon bench. It's a Sandringham ball in front of the Leisure Centre. Mayo has it. Not the only man on the ground with his socks pulled up. Goes down the line. Long ball for Rowe. Zerk Thatcher there as well. Free kick will go Zerk Thatcher's way.
Just a push out there.
Claverino back up on his feet, by the way. So Brandon Zerk Thatcher inside 50. Batchelor, 2 bites of the cherry, does well. Takes the relieving mark for the Zebras.
There won't be much time left in the quarter, so
yeah,
look for him to move this ball quickly and long to give themselves another chance to try and get the lead going into half-time.
We went about 13-14 minutes before the first goal, Hilly, so a lot of time would have been eaten up there. I wasn't expecting a long quarter either. Hasn't been a high-scoring game. That's a bad ball turnover. And Jock wasn't to know the siren was pending, so he hand-passed, and that was it. Before the game started, as sort of threats of rain all day, and yet it's still dry out here. So it's a matter of whether the game will open up. It's been highly contested. That can be taxing. See how the second half goes. Not a great bounce to start the second half, but umpire allows play to continue. Off the ground goes Stephen. Fox runs into trouble. Kicked a great goal in the second term. Held on to for a bit too long. Free kick for the Zebras. Not too many goals toward the Napier Street end of the ground. A couple of injury concerns out of half-time. There's one Bomber whose day is done. Glenn Hill might be able to give us an update on that. It looks like from here it might be Bruno Laguta. So Fox inside 50. Not a great ball. Zerk Thatcher takes it uncontested.
It is Bruno Laguta, and he's definitely done for the day. Jacket on, and it's a lower leg injury, unfortunately.
The 23rd man for Sandringham, Trent Thomas, making his way by you as well.
Laverde has it at left half back for the Bombers.
Sorry, he's not the 23rd man, but he went back into the rooms after halftime.
Might have just been a toilet break there.
Potentially.
Poorly timed one, if so, but Matty D gets it moving for the Bombers. Marsh might have pushed his opponent in the back, Tynan Smith, and he did.
Good umpiring on that occasion. Really onto that positioning.
Haven't called Smith's name too much this afternoon, but that was a nice pass to Jock. And with the breeze at his back, he just sets it up for his tall timber to go to work. Ball spills out the back. Begley's creative in these situations. That time perhaps tried to do a little bit too much. The mark taken by Brady Seckle.
Where they've gone a little bit quiet, the Bombers, is they just haven't got that run off the back of the pack, so these kicks forward. They've got players who've gone missing, basically, in that area of the ground.
Hocking under some pressure as he tries to get his hand pass back toward the middle of the ground, was looking for Myers. And we'll have a ball up. Guccione helping the tackle there. Umpire to throw it up. So will this game break open? If it does, who gets the ascendancy? Bombers have it at the moment. Jock gives it to Union. The chip inside 50 is good. Nice little deft pass for Mark Bagley. Round the grounds, Box Hill have... well, that's still a half-time score, but Box Hill have got a good start against North Melbourne, 7-5-47, Kangaroos 3-6-24, and the Tigers, who are, for mine, a premiership favourite in the VFL, 6-3-39 over last year's runner-up, Casey 2-2-14. That's a battle between the two sides that have lost the two most recent VFL Grand Finals. All eyes right now on Mark Bagley from the paint of 50. That's where the plant leg was.
Great kick.
And a perfect kick. The start the Bombers were looking for in this second half. Mark Bagley kicks the goal. 6-3-39. Sandringham 5-3-33. 3 minutes gone in the third term.
Yeah, well, it's all about making the most of the breeze, and the Bombers are going to look to score and score heavily with the breeze this quarter. And you just want to see from them a really offensive game. They just want to be able to break free from the contest, use that run and carry, spot up, hit targets. Wouldn't be surprised that was a directive from Dan Jordan, so that they don't blaze away at goal, and they do look to hit those targets about 35, 40 metres out, because kicking from 50 today is like kicking at about 30 metres. So the ball is carrying so far on the breeze.
Around the grounds to the AFL boys, and the Essendon AFL side trailing Port Adelaide by 17 points.
Maybe some injury concerns there as well, Michael.
As the mark's taken inside defensive 50 by Guccione for the Bombers.
Garazio Fantasia, one of them.
Not great news for Essendon, as the mark taken by Batchelor. So both Essendon sides, AFL and VFL, under immense pressure from teams not in finals contention at the moment. As Batchelor drives it long into the pocket. Plenty of numbers there. Bowman, the big ruckman, gets back for the Bombers. Spots an option he likes, and that's his captain Heppel at left half back. Turned and went immediately. And
50.
It's just a little bit silly by Brandon White. Hocking had the ball, and he was always going to be late to that contest. Hocking goes immediately from the point of the centre square. Begley couldn't haul it in. In fact, it's Laverde. Classy pickup, was nice with the one hand, but set upon immediately by Hill, and he's not going anywhere.
Again, the Bombers players led to that dead pocket. I call it the dead pocket because it's just a spot where the ball just continuously goes to the boundary line. Not so many players jag a mark and goal.
And there is a goal for Essendon, as easy as you like, out of the stoppage. And the Bombers have kicked the first two of the second half. Noah Gown it was who just trickled it towards goal. No one on the goal line for Sandringham. That's disappointing. And the Bombers now 7-3-45. Leading Sandy 5-3-33. 5.5 gone third term.
Signs of that first quarter, Hilly, where the Bombers got a good early break.
Yeah, and Sandringham just not thinking on that occasion, not looking to lock down. That was a goal from nothing, but it was an easy goal from nothing. It was a contest that they just didn't throw themselves into, and the Bombers got an easy goal on that occasion.
So we're back in the middle. Things are getting a little gloomier, a little darker here, but the radar looks largely all clear across the northwest of Melbourne. Back in the middle, Batchelor can't stick the tackle on Heppel, hacks it inside 50. Bombers looking for another one here. It bounces over the top of Gown, who lays the tackle there on Noon. Umpire calls for a ball up here on Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear VFL Live. Third quarter underway between the Hawks and the Kangaroos at Arden Street. Box Hill by 23 in that one. 20-point lead for Richmond over Casey. They cleared away Sandringham, but Myers takes the mark, and with the wind at his back, despite the mark being set at about 52 metres, he's fancying himself.
He's a long, prodigious kick of the footy, is Myers, and I'd expect him to be able to carry the distance with this breeze. It's just a matter of the accuracy. This ball will swing a long way from right to left.
I really do feel like it's a lot more prevalent on the ground here than it is up here in our commentary area where it's pretty still. Myers, look at that kick. Look at that kick. It goes all the way from 60.
Didn't just go all the way. That covered...
Did it clear the fence?
That covered the fence, no problem at all. So, fantastic kick there from Myers, and the Bombers have started exactly in the same fashion they started the first quarter. It's just going to be interesting to see whether they can keep it going.
8-3-51 Essendon, Sandringham 5-3, 33, 7.5 minutes into the third term as Begley replaces Laverty on the Essendon bench.
The beauty of the 6-6-6 rule, obviously the Sandringham can't flood back and bottle the game up.
You can see the two wings on this side though, both defensive side of the circle here, McNeese and Batchelor.
If you've just joined us, it's very much how the Bombers started the opening term. Kicked the first 3 goals within 7 or 8 minutes before Sandringham was able to steady the ship, and they're getting on a roll here, the Bombers, as Heppel drives it inside forward 50. Doing well to get out of some traffic. There was Tynan Smith. Handball a little bit wayward though, and we get a stoppage.
And again, from that clearance, Bombers weren't looking to blaze away and just kick long. They were looking to keep it lower and try and hit a target up 35-40 out. They've changed their game plan.
Heppel getting busy, gives it off to Myers, the last goal kicker. He shoots it out, and now Begley, around 1, tried to get the kick away while giving it, don't argue. Not too sure of the effectiveness of that strategy, and Brady Seckles down. A couple of teammates with him. Play does go on. Stephen...
He's back to his feet now.
Out wide. They're tiptoeing the boundary line on the outer side at the moment, the Zebras. High ball towards half forward. Joyce and Mayo there. Neither able to clunk it, and out of bounds off hands. Zebras skipper back up. Izzy Hilly, Brady Seckle. Looks like he's making his way towards this stoppage.
Yeah, he certainly is up and moving, so all good, not coming off the ground.
Good to see. It takes a lot to keep him on the ground. Brady Seckle, one of the very best in and under midfielders in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. As the Bombers clear, we have another whistle, and that was potentially for some treatment after the kick. It's going to be downfield, and Begley might just be within range here. Man on the mark brought to about 48. And going towards that primary school end of the ground, left of screen. If you're watching us on vfl.com.au, this is well within range for Josh Begley. Instead decides to go with the short pass. Had everyone fooled. And the mark taken by Tynan Smith.
He was closer to goal than what David Myers was for his shot earlier in the quarter. Leading ball getter on the ground, by the way, is Myers with 25. McNeese has 17. Best of Sandringham, 15 for both Ed Phillips and Jack Stephen.
So Tynan Smith, the 23rd man for the Bombers this afternoon. As we mentioned, just the one game this season. That was in round 7 against the Zebras at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. Kicked a goal that day. And from 40 metres out, he's kicked another goal against the Zebras. Bombers out to a 4-goal lead.
Yeah, it's just what I was fearing for Sandringham was that they were going to come out really fired up, the Bombers, and they have. This 11-minute period of football has been all the Bombers, so they've got all the flow of this game at the moment. Obviously kicking with the breeze is a big assistance, but they're looking to make full use of it this quarter and try and kill the contest off in their favour.
It's been one of those days when the breeze has been a little on and off, but has mostly favoured left of screen. Eastern ends of the grounds here at Windy Hill. So Tynan Smith, who in his only other game against Sandringham, funny enough, earlier in the year, kicked a goal that day, has one here today. Umpire bounces in the middle. And it escaped the circles. First recalled bounce of the day. It's been pretty good today, the bouncing.
Yeah, that centre area is just so much smoother than earlier in the season, so there's really no excuses for the umpires.
Ball thrown up now. Jock gets the early jump on Rose. Stephen only has one arm to deal with here. Good tackle by Seckle. Eventually it's cleared for the Bombers inside 50. Claverino got a fist. Noon under pressure. Goes back to Marsh. Gets away from the tackler. Kick down the line. No out of bounds on the full. Off the side of the boot. Bombers get it back. And it's Jake Long that has it. Right by the Bowls Club here at Windy Hill. Throws it onto the right foot. It's a high ball inside 50. Bit of an unrealistic jump at the ball there by Smith. Gives away the free kick. And Sandringham will get it back. In the back pocket, it's Noon. The right foot ball.
Really poor option there from Noon. Didn't quite assess the numbers that he had.
Blazed away, didn't he?
Yeah, to his right-hand side. Sandringham had the extra and could have worked their way around, but didn't quite do the sums correctly and just put it straight down the throat of the Bombers.
It was Lazaro who picked it off. Now Zerk Thatcher as the Bombers go backwards to go forward. Begley. Jock has some space just high of centre half forward. Takes the mark. Does Tom Jock. Impressed for Collingwood at VFL level last year. Ended up on an AFL list by year's end. Phillips goes wide. Stephen had to sit and wait for it. Lazaro again with the defensive pressure.
Oh,
stays alive. Stephen, good hand pass to Webster. And Sandringham do work this out nicely in the end, although had to go back there. Did Phillips. The hand pass off. Kick goes down the line. No room to work with at the moment. Jock's done brilliantly though. Wins it back. Gets away from the pressure. Kick inside 50. There was a little nudge there on Smith. It was right in front of the main umpire, but an umpire a little further away has decided to pay it. And a shot on goal coming up for Tynan Smith. He could kick his second in a row and extend the lead to a game high 30 points.
The Bombers in the last 6 or 7 minutes getting a lot of drive from Jock. He is starting to take over the ruck contest and the centre of the ground. He's had a lot of touches in the last 5 or 6 minutes, propelling the Bombers forward.
Tynan Smith, right foot ball on the way. The goal kicking's been good today. Bombers 10-3-63. Sandringham 5-3-33. The margin is 30 points halfway into the third term. Goal kicking's been really good today, despite the blustery conditions. And that side of the ground, Healy, is the one where goal kicking can be a little more trickier because it's more exposed to the elements.
It certainly is, but I think the players that have that breeze, who are right footers, can really handle that right to left breeze, and they've got that at that end of the ground. So they're kicking really well at that end. Interesting to see now that the Jock's not in the ruck, straight back out into the wings. So such a utility player is Jock, and he's had a huge impact in the last 5 minutes.
Living up to his reputation as the Sandy specialist is Tynan Smith. He's kicked a couple and the Bombers go forward once again. Bouncing ball inside forward 50. Hill first to it though, but the kick, an absolute mongrel, just rushed it. Had a bit more time than he realised, and that one's into the cricket nets out on the full.
He's been having a good game, Hill, so he'd just be disappointed with his disposal on that occasion. It's been very good off half-back again today. 10-3-63
plays 5-3-33 as the kick from Dixon is perfect for the lead of Noah Gown, and he can go back for his third.
Liked his marking ability today, Hilly.
Yeah, he's been really, really good with his hands. And kicked 2 already, looking at 3. Looks a promising footballer.
Sam Rowe coming off. Kai Owens will replace him. Bit of strapping around that lower right shin.
Here's his full time here. He's marked his spot like a fast bowler would. Goes back on his run up.
Plenty for Bombers fans to like with this young man. 19-year-old key forward prospect. First year on the AFL list as Gown uses the breeze to perfection. He's got number 3, and the Zebras have a big problem at Windy Hill.
They certainly do, because we've just clicked over 16 minutes. They've given up 6 goals in 16 minutes, and with the best part of 15 minutes to play, they could be looking at a huge deficit now at three-quarter time.
11-3, 69 now the Bombers. Excellent goal kicking in blustery conditions. Sandringham 5-3, 33. They're yet to score in this second half.
Bombers looking for their 12th win of the season. They win today. They will go to second on the ladder and jump over Williamstown, who have the bye this week.
And just a score update at Marvel Stadium. Port Adelaide leading the Bombers by 29 points.
Late in the third term as well in that one, Hilly.
So that might be an issue for the Bombers fans. Not looking good. An upset brewing there against the Power. Stephen did well to extract it. Eventually now it ends up with Unan, who was falling over as he tried to get his hand pass out to Bauman. Eventually it's one back here. A little kick down the line by Joyce, who ran into a man going back. And fetching it well there was Myers, but he put his man Tynan under a bit of pressure, got taken high. Free kick Essendon. Jaden Laverty offers up an option across toward the outer wing. Jock might be next in the chain. Laverty goes a little longer for Bagley, takes the mark. Hand pass off. Now this is Jock. Gets around the man with ease. He's done that a few times today. Lazaro has to get around a couple of tackles. Potentially bit off more than he could chew. Webster brings him down. It's been a great defensive pressure game today, this one. And that was on display there as Webster wins the free kick here for Sandringham. Mayo's had some space a fair bit today. Goes on the non-preferred right. Short little pass is okay. So the Zebras, sort of Bombers go coast to coast, kick a goal with this sort of footy in the second term. Just good decision making by foot hitting targets. That's what they're looking to set up here. They go to the contest, and no mark was paid in the end for Jake Batchelor.
Touched off the boot, was it perhaps?
Looked clean to me, Hilly.
Yeah, you hear the umpire there just saying the man on the mark touched that footy.
Okay. Umpire throws it up. That's why we've got a boundary rider, Michael. You can pick up on all those sorts of things that we can't. Behind the glass, up in the grandstand, smothered ball, Fox. Ball up on dead centre wing.
Be nice if we actually were behind glass, Adam, this afternoon.
It suited my narrative to go with that, though, Michael.
It's a little bit fresh out here, but no worries. We'll soldier on as Owens in the ruck wins the hit out for Sandringham. Seckel dumped and dispossessed in the process. Chance for the Bombers to counter-attack again. Ham with the left boot. Kick inboard for Unan in a 2-on-1. Did well to bring it to ground against a couple of bigger defenders. Hill there for Sandringham. He's been one of their better players this afternoon. And we'll get it ball up right on the paint of 50 for Essendon. Approaching time on in this third term. The Bombers have slammed on 6 goals straight to no score so far. And they take a commanding lead late in this third term as Rowe lays a strong tackle to impede the movement of Heppel. Bowman's been pretty good in the ruck for Essendon today. Jock through traffic once again. Doing even better through traffic on that occasion was McNeese. And now Tynan to the pocket. Laverde being held. In fact, doing the holding, was he? Oh, we've got a free kick coming back.
Free kick in the centre of the ground, or more towards centre half back for Sandringham. off the ball, that one.
So it'll be Robbie Young's ball, centre half back. Haven't called his name too often. Kick wasn't the required distance to Webster, so he had to get it and go, and his foot skills always precise. Able to find a teammate on the outer side.
Sandringham looking just to chew some clock now.
High ball towards half forward. I guess it's all about damage control now, Hilly, because they need to keep this margin somewhat gettable going with the breeze into the final term, but even then 6 goals might just be too much to ask, even with a strong breeze, as we get a stoppage just inside the centre square.
Yeah, 6 goals would probably be around about your maximum you want to be chasing against a top 2 or top 3 team as Essendon are. So I'd expect Sandringham to certainly raise a big contest in the last quarter and make a big effort on the scoreboard. But this next 8 or 9 minutes is certainly damage control, as you mentioned. They need to keep this contest in tight and make it stoppage after stoppage.
They are accustomed to breezy conditions, playing on Trevor Barker Beach Oval, of course, one of the windiest grounds in Victoria, so that might help them out a little bit going into the final term, as White around one tackler towards half forward, taken by Carroll, got his hands free to release the handball, but boundary line too close. 22 and a half minutes gone. 11-3-69 plays 5-3-33 around the grounds. Box Hill leading the Kangaroos by 25 points at Arden Street, and that same margin at the Swinburne Centre. Richmond leading the Casey Demons 7-4-46 to 3-3-21. As the Bombers switch, it's dangerous. Houlihan has ditched the long sleeves for the third term, and he takes the mark, and now Jock can run. He can run to 55. Could have gone off for home if he wanted. Instead, did the unselfish thing, and the mark taken by Begley.
He's been the hot player of the third quarter.
In fact, Tynan Smith it is.
Has Jock. He's been the match turner in the middle of the ground. Whether he's been in the ruck, on the wing, on the ball, he's getting plenty of football. And that would have been probably about his 4th inside 50 for the quarter and hitting targets.
This man's having a good quarter too, Hilly.
Very impressive.
Tynan Smith.
He certainly is. He's getting on the end of them.
Going for goal number 3 in the third term. Tynan Smith, slight angle, puts it through, and he's having himself a quarter to remember, the young man. 3 goals out of 7 for the Bombers, and that lead now is an imposing one, out to 42 points, 12-3-75, playing 5-3-33.
The score in this third quarter, Essendon 7 straight 42, and Sandringham have not scored. 7 goals straight.
Not only have they
for the Bombers
not scored, which is the worrying thing for Sandringham, they haven't been forward. You'd have to check the inside 50s, but I think they'd be limited to 1 or 2 inside 50s for the quarter. They just can't win a clearance at the moment. The Bombers are just winning every clearance around the centre of the ground, and they're having no impact at the moment, Sandringham.
Perhaps it was a stern talking to that Dan Jordan delivered his men at half-time. Back in the middle. They've come out a different side in his third term, the Bombers. They are well and truly one of the premiership favourites here in the VFL. Well gathered by Laverty. Then they don't argue on Seckle, if you don't mind. It ends up with Heppel. Kicks on the way for the Bombers skipper, and they've kicked 8 straight in this third quarter. It is champagne footy for Essendon, and they are flying 13-3-81. Sandringham stuck on their half-time score of 5-3-33.
Yep, they're in massive trouble now, Sandringham. That period, that 20-minute mark to 30-minute mark period, was going to be their time where if they could keep the contest stuck around that 6-goal margin, they'd be well and truly in it. But now, 25 minutes into this third quarter, in a quarter that'll probably go 32 or 33 minutes, they're looking like they're just going to have to hang on here and somehow keep this under 50 points, but I just can't see it at the moment. All the momentum's with the Bombers.
David Mize is up to 32 touches, 1 goal, 1, and 3 tackles. He's having an outstanding day. So get 32 this early in the game. You're getting a lot of it.
What can the Zebras muster in the closing stages of this third term. Another centre clearance goes Essendon's way. Batchelor trying to bash and crash his way through. Does really well. Releases Seckel in the middle of the ground by hand. Kick out wide is okay. And the mark taken for the Zebras. And a rare inside 50 now for Sandringham. And a mark inside 50 as well, taken by Seaton. Could have done with this sort of ball movement much earlier in the quarter, the Zebras, but they get a chance to peg one back against the run of play.
Tell you what, if things get out of hand at Marvel, the Bombers fans might leave that. Come watch this, Hilly.
Yeah, certainly.
This is the Bombers team to watch today.
3 goals for this season for Anthony Seaton. That won't be a goal, and needed some help getting across the line. In fact, didn't even make the distance. So a disappointing result there for the Zebras. Margin now back to 47 points.
What is the travel time between Southern Cross Station and Essendon, Michael? I wouldn't know. 12, 15 minutes maybe. Tynan ends up with McNeese. Little chipper. That was touched off the boot as well, so no mark taken there on paid for Guccione, who got brought down. He was pushed in the process. Free kick for the Bombers.
Just a down the ground free kick.
No advantage is paid here. It is down the field, in fact. Not far down the field, but quickly hand passed off by Begley. McNeese, penetrating ball inside 50. Again, it carried. Now Bagley gets his snap. It's an accurate kick, and it goes all the way.
Another goal.
14-3, 87, playing 5-4-34. The Bombers have kicked 9 goals straight in this third quarter, 27 and a half minutes in.
About 26 minutes from Southern Cross Station to here, Adam.
Really?
Oh, that's what PTV tells me, so...
I'm surprised you actually went and followed that up.
Well, you asked me the questions, Adam, and I deliver, so...
That's the sort of thing, Hilly, that doesn't happen when we've got a close one.
No, that's absolutely true, but unfortunately this game's blown out of control from the Sandringham.
Is it beyond Sandy's reach, you reckon?
Oh, it is now. It is now. Their tails are up, the Bombers. There's still probably 4 or 5 minutes left in this quarter. We've had 9 goals kicked. You'd almost certainly say this will go 33 minutes this quarter, so there's still time for more.
From the restart, that bounce, the first one to go awry so far this afternoon. You might notice that Adam hasn't said anything about bouncing, but I get the feeling he might just say something now.
I was muzzled by Al Jefe.
So it's not the worst thing, and I'm sure some of our listeners might agree, Adam, as Seckel, 3 or 4 efforts in there, but not able to get the ball free. Laverde there for Essendon. Pumps it inside to the one-on-ones. Gown with strength.
Could you guys just check that radar, because I can feel some spots of rain, and it is quite dark at Windy Hill at the moment.
If we get precipitation, I've got a feeling it's only going to be very, very light, Hilly, because the radar, while it isn't all clear, there's very light rain that's just coming across from sort of Ballarat way as we speak. That might hit us, but it's very light.
So for his 4th goal, and to bring the margin to just under 10 goals, Noah Gown, as good as directly in front,
It's home.
Kicks the goal. And it's getting ugly fast here at Windy Hill.
This might be one of the best quarters we've seen from the Bombers.
That's 10 goals. 10 goals now for the quarter. 10 goals straight to just the one behind for the Zebras.
Noah Gown's got 3 of them in this quarter. Tynan Smith has got 3 of them as well. 2 for Mark Bagley.
It's just about been the most comprehensive quarter of football I've seen from a team this year. And, to think that Sandringham were 33 apiece at half-time and were the better team for about a quarter and a half of that first half. To see them get destroyed in this fashion, it has been a clinic this quarter. And the Bombers will be very pleased with what they're dishing up.
I know that you're due to interview Dan Jordan out of the huddles at 3/4 time, Hilly, but I am very curious to know what's going through Aaron Hamill's head as we speak.
He'd certainly be disappointed.
That would be an understatement, I would think. So Bagley, he's double tackled, gang tackled. Senkle's involved. Umpire crosses his arms. Bombers might not be done here. We are beyond 30 minutes. Started the quarter at 5-3-33, at a 1 in front of that 5, and that's their score now. 15-3, a stunning display by the Bombers. Mark taken on the outer side here by Trent Thomas for Sandringham, over the top for his skipper. Brady Seckle, just forward of centre wing. He'd be a frustrated man as well as the on-field leader for these Zebras. Goes into attack. It's a juggling mark taken. McNeese has been pretty good today for the Bombers, I think, and he's taken another intercept mark here. This will be disposal number 22 for McNeese. Now Laverty's gone down here. He's a man that's had so much bad luck. Inside 50 we go for Sandringham. That's a big one brewing. Jaden Laverty not getting up for the Bombers as play continues about 40 metres away. Tynan clears toward the wing. You might be able to see it in the foreground of the footage, maybe just outside the frame.
Play here, actually.
Bombers have a mark on the outer wing. Play will continue.
Just with that many...
So about 20 metres back from where Riley Ham has it. Sorry, Hilly. That's where Laverty has a number of trainers around him at the moment. Any of us see what happened? I'm not sure we did. Heppel goes in board in the mark. I think that's Begley that's taken the mark. And Laverty's back up on his feet. Wow. Laverty's just popped up out of nowhere.
Well, the kids have all run on the ground here, and I know they're not streaming to the Bombers' end of the ground, but should really stay off the ground while a shot at goal is taking place.
Glenn Hill getting a little operational here. So Begley, we saw Myers kick a great goal from here in the quarter earlier. This time he hooks his kick, and well, the Bombers, by the time the siren went, guys...
really pleased.
Certainly your hit-up targets inside 50 was sensational.
Yeah, twofold. I think one, we probably weren't getting those options when we're going inside and bombing the footy, and then also, the guys around the footy who, probably weren't lowering their eyes and being able to potentially use the footy with some good method that we would like. So, both of those, we get options hitting up, and then we get the ball carrier trying to have a look, and it seems to get some better entries for us.
Well, it certainly was a great quarter of football. Thanks for your time on VFL Live once again. Good luck for the remainder.
Cheers, mate. Tay.
Thanks for that, Hilly. Fourth term is underway, and the Bombers have it inside forward 50 once again, but the Sandringham defence just holding firm for the time being. Fox couldn't quite gather this one cleanly, though, and Essendon had some numbers. Heppel now at right half forward. Evades the tackle of Fox nicely. Jock needs to be quick with the hands, and he was, but handball to no one in particular. And Webster set upon immediately by a couple of Bombers.
Looks like Hilly Laverty starting the final term on the bench, but will be right to come back out.
Yeah, he's just lining up now to enter the field of play, so I think he'll be the first substitution.
We did have a look at the vision, Adam, at three-quarter time, and there wasn't anything too untoward in that vision.
It must have been that knee into the rib region.
Perhaps winded, maybe. But he looks like he's ready to go now, Laverde, so good signs for the Essendon Footy Club as we get a stoppage right in front of the Bombers bench where Dan Jordan is coaching his side. And as you said, Hilly, I think the message certainly got through because they put on 10 goals won in that third term to just the one behind for Sandringham to take a 10-goal lead into three-quarter time with the game being level at half-time. It's certainly not something you see too often, and it might just have been the best quarter of footy we've seen on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live this year as play goes on, tiptoeing the boundary line, players from both sides.
Just start to wonder if the umpires just zoned too far off there. Certainly missed a illegal disposal by hand there from the Sandringham player.
Stunningly, the ball didn't go out of play at all in that sequence as Hocking's handball partially smothered.
Two Zebras down in back plate.
Jack Stephen, one of those, and looks like Robbie Young might be the other. Play goes on. Gang tackled.
I think Jack Stephen might have a little bit of blood just to the right-hand side of his face, if not his eyebrow. He's coming straight off.
Yep, so he'll come off. Play resumes. Young's okay because he got that soccer off the ground back toward the middle of the ground. It bounces away though from Jock. Hayden just fumbled, eventually long it. A wobbling ball, 2-on-2 here. No mark was taken. Now we've got a foot race for the ball, which is being led by Danny Union, but he gets pushed out of it. Smith! He's kicked the goal, but it might not count.
It won't. That was one of the goals or non-goals of the season.
Still worthy of a highlight, I reckon, but it won't count for anything. Boundary throw-in.
And he's just out of bounds in that tight pocket. Just need a little bit more space.
It's one of the greater non-goals I've ever seen. Boundary throw-in. Front of the Reynolds stands here at Windy Hill. Rowe gets rid of his man and, well, had a while to get rid of it. Fox, interesting handball there. Just put Phillips under a little bit of pressure. And Gown forces him out of play. Boundary throw-in.
Thought we might have seen Sam Rowe full forward this quarter, but he's playing up around the ball and in the ruck.
Trying to spot Kai Owens at the moment. I don't know if he's out there, Healy, at the moment. Can't spot him. Boundary throw-in. Rowe again tries to grab it out of the ruck. It doesn't work out that way, though. Union's over the top of it. Fox brings him down. Still had it and got a kick away. Tried to sort of assist it toward Begley. Gets held up. We've got a ball up. Bombers by 10 snags. That's what we've got here. They kicked 10 goals, 1 in a stunning third term. Begley smothered off the boot. Bagley taken high, gets the free kick. And a shot on goal coming up for Mark Bagley, who kicked 2 of those 10 goals in the third quarter.
You just feel that the body language from the Sandringham players it's all over. You know, their hands are on the hips. We've only been going 3 minutes here, and I could count probably 8 players with their hands on their hips at the moment. They just the body language is not there for them. They've put the white flag up. Even though the Bombers are kicking into the breeze this quarter, I wouldn't be surprised if they went on with this.
So Bagley, virtually no angle to deal with. Kicks from 30, kicks through it and kicks the goal. Their goal kicking has been stunning today to Bombers. And they've turned up 16-4-100. Sandringham 5-4-34, just 1 behind since half-time for the Zebs.
So that margin now out to 11 snags, Adam. Perhaps doable at a family barbecue, but maybe not in the final term. Oh, maybe I just speak for myself there, I don't know.
Put away a few, can you, Michael?
I've been known to. But 16-4-100, how about that scoreline for the Bombers? It's been really windy this afternoon. Windy Hill, of course, living up to its name, but fantastic goal kicking. It's hard to believe that this game was level at half-time. As we get going once again, that bounce will be recalled. Around the grounds, Box Hill by 25 points over North Melbourne at Arden Street, and Richmond leading the Casey Demons by 18 points early in the third term at the Swinburne Centre, as Heppel lays a big tackle on Sam Rowe to bring him down. And the ball lodged in the middle of those two.
Really important game, that one at the Swinburne Centre with the Tigers up against Casey, and could have ramifications on positions at the end of the season.
Josh Beckley getting some work on his wrist, Hilly. Probably out of your line of sight, though.
Oh yes, just got it now.
Jordan Houlihan wrapped up on that occasion. We'll get another stoppage. Mentioned earlier, Hilly, big game for the Casey Demons. They are just lurking in 9th spot at the moment. Last year's grand finalists and looking to make a charge towards finals. Yeah, they need a couple of teams to help them out, but they need to keep winning as well. And Richmond at the Swinburne Centre, well, there aren't too many more difficult tasks than that one in the VFL at the moment, as Union keeps it in play. Now the kick comes inside forward 50. And the non-officiating umpire has awarded a free kick, and that might have been for contact after the kick. In fact, it's going against Essendon. So it'll be a Sandringham ball.
Yeah, the free kick's out over on the half-back flank there on the outer side.
Robbie Young's won himself a couple of off-the-ball free kicks today, perhaps getting under the skin of some of his opponents. Can be a feisty character, Robbie Young. Of course, his first season on the St Kilda list after coming from North Adelaide in the SANFL last year, where he won a premiership, and, well, he's turned it over with this kick going through the corridor. Inside forward 50 for the Bombers. Union, is he paid? No. Had a couple of bites of it, but getting a fist in there was Hill for Sandringham. Did just enough to neutralise the contest, and now we get a stoppage, centre half forward for the Bombers.
Jake Batchelor just coming off for Sandringham with a foot injury. Just say he looked a little hobbly there too and might not be back.
All right, so Myers, the leading ball getter on the ground. Bagley having a good day up forward, takes a good contested mark on Hill.
What's Bagley's stats for today, guys?
I'll get those up for you in a moment, Hilly.
This might be a tough kick.
Certainly won't carry the distance from there.
Didn't think about a shot in the end, so the lead's on offer here by Jaden Laverty.
Great
and he
pass.
takes the mark.
11 touches and the 3 goals for Bagley.
Yeah, he's had a really productive game. He's looked clean, he's looked good every time he's got the footy, and smart football there. Just hit the leading player up, and again to another smart footballer, Jaden Laverty. Knows that the ball's not going to come in deep. They've obviously worked that one out today. It's certainly the lead-up player 40 metres out is your better option.
Kicked one at this non-scoring end in the second term, did Jaden Laverty earlier today.
He should just bend a little bit left to right, and he should kick the distance.
We've got a good view of it. There's a little bit of left to right. It does the job. Glenn Hill might be best on ground today, Michael. He's having a good day on boundary. 17-4, 106 to 5-4-34. Your margin is 72 points on Hard Jackets, Hideaway Workwear, VFL Live.
Probably something that's not helping Sandringham at the moment is the breeze just has lightened off a little bit, and does tend to do here in the last quarter as we sort of draw late into the day in winter. It doesn't always blow for the whole day. It's just lightened off a little bit now, and that certainly helped Jaden Laverty kick the distance there.
So this isn't a result that's going to help Sandy's cause. Obviously, they're just about out of finals contention now. They can be mathematically out by the end of the round.
Unfortunately, this is probably the contest that's going to see them off for finals for this year, but obviously the next few weeks they've got some teams to overcome and some young players to push through, so let's hope they can get some results.
Looking like it'll be an 8th straight loss for the Zebras as they go inside 50, but comes back out almost immediately as Mayo wins himself a free kick for front-on contact. He's tried hard today, Jack Mayo. Hasn't gotten amongst the goals, but he's worked hard at both ends of the ground as he sends a high ball inside forward 50. Everyone misread it. Ball gets to ground and taken down there is Dara Joyce. And we get another stoppage inside forward 50 this time. Almost 10 minutes gone in this final term. It's a 62-point lead for the Bombers. So they clear defensive 50. Laverde was just clean when no one else was, and now Tynan Smith, who had a big third term with 3 goals, turns it over with the handball to Noon, but he might have given it straight back. Good defensive pressure from Essendon despite having such a big lead so late in the game. You can tell they're up for the contest, the Bombers, and the Zebras have just struggled to meet them at that level. Able to sustain it for a half, but not able to do so for the remainder of the contest. And, well, you see why one of these sides is playing for a top 2 spot and the other one is just outside of finals contention at the moment. As the Bombers clear again, Laverde just able to ragdoll Noon and take the footy, and Myers, he can go for goal. Instead, does the unselfish thing. Bagley slipped, though, at the crucial moment. Hocking trying to lay the pressure. So too is Bagley, but the Zebras able to clear. Thomas gives it off to White, who went to ground, but had enough time to give it back to Thomas. It's all a little bit untidy at the moment. Jock was barreled into, and he'll get a free kick for in the back.
It's a blockbuster month of August here on Hard Jackets, Totally Workwear, VFL Live, and Essendon is featuring prominently. Their next 2 games are against Footscray and Richmond, both inside the current top 4, and both those games right here on Hard Jackets, Totally Workwear, VFL Live, as Dixon just lobs one toward the square, and the man that's probably best on ground today, Myers, kicks an easy goal.
That's disposal number 37 for Myers.
And goal number 18 for Essendon. 18-4, 112. Sandringham 5-4, 34. The Bombers might be on their way to a 3-figure win here. They have been outstanding since half-time. So next week's game an hour earlier than usual from the VU Whitten Oval. It'll be Footscray, who is also in the top 4 as we speak, hosting the Bombers. Myself and Peter Mercado will be calling that one. And then we're back here the following week at Windy Hill for the Tigers, who will be taking on Essendon. That's the Richmond Tigers, who are on top of the ladder on their way to another win, it would seem, around the grounds against Casey.
That's right, they're up by 19 points, Adam, 12 minutes into that third term. So they're doing it pretty nicely, the Tigers. Not as nicely as the Bombers, though. Leading by 68 points. In fact, 78 points, I should say. D takes it, and, well, it was a Bombers free kick, and D just took the advantage. Bowman can hand it off to Heppel, and he can get to 40, and instead of having the shot, gives it off to Laverde, and he'll run into the open goal. Party time now for the Bombers. They lead it by 84.
Wow.
Yeah,
this is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, as I said, just early in this quarter, 2 or 3 minutes into the quarter, you could just see the Sandringham players, the flag was up. They were happy to tap out, and the body language was not good in the first 3 or 4 minutes. We're now only approaching the 14-minute mark. They haven't looked like scoring realistically, and the Bombers are just doing what they like at the moment.
So the margin here is 14 goals. The margin at Marvel Stadium is 9 goals, and that's not in favour of Essendon. Port Adelaide is doing a number on the Bombers at Marvel. That game's almost over. 18-12, 120 the power. The Bombers 9-12, 66. So if John Worsfold wants to swing the axe, he's got plenty of numbers to choose from here today, because the Bombers are hot in the VFL. Free kick after the centre clearance, quickly taken by Dixon. Might have hurt his shoulder. Got it to Jock. Inside 50, Begley. Couldn't hit a target. It's actually well marked. I think there might be Hill down there. No, it's Marsh for the Zebras.
John Worsfold can get his press conference done really quickly. Get down, might catch the last 10 minutes.
We can just watch the replay right here on Hijacker. It's Totally Workwear VFL Live on the VFL website, as the Bombers look to sweep across half-back. D. Nice ball for Myers. Another touch for him. 38.
That's right.
Inside 50 we go. It's a high one for Bagley. Had 2 Zebras to deal with, and going back well, reading it in flight was Marsh, and he took the relieving mark. Down the line we go. Owens had one arm to deal with. Zerk Thatcher worried him out of it. Socket forward. Ball met here by Carroll under some pressure. Needs some help. Thomas is there. Tynan's involved as well as Zerk Thatcher for the Bombers. Ball was extracted. Umpire waves his arms and says play on. Owens with another tackle on Smith this time. And this time we have a ball up. In fact, it's Lazaro for the Bombers.
39 and 3 goals for David Myers. Not a bad day out. He's had a massive game, and
be a good fantasy number, I reckon, today.
Certainly would be, Adam. He's just getting himself into selection contention once again, as we have a free kick here.
As I said, I think I saw something come through. Orazio Fantasia might be under an injury cloud for the Bombers.
Had kicked a couple of goals early on in that game, so he'll be sorely missed for Essendon in their charge towards September action in the AFL, as the ball's taken by Seaton, nicely crumbed, and he kicks himself a good crumbing goal.
First goal of the second half for the Zebs.
Comes 16 minutes into the final term. That sees them move to 6-4-40. They trail by 78 points, though.
Boys, the temperature here has just plummeted in the last 10 minutes at ground level. And unfortunately for Sandringham, they're going to have to stand out there probably for about another 13 or 14 minutes.
Yep.
And try and weather this absolute avalanche that Essendon have dumped on them in the second half here.
It's a 13-goal game. Back in the middle. This is umpire Martin Roger. Bouncing's been good today. And that's a trend that continues here. Bauman had the bounce favour him against Joyce. Hand pass out. High ball from Hocking. Flying for it was Unan. Ground level ball. Jones extracts for Sandringham. Goes wide. Owens takes the mark. So the Zebras might get a rare back-to-back goal here. Owens into attack. Mayo's going to come from deep. No mark was taken. Bombers have numbers at the back of the contest. Zerk Thatcher was one of them. Goes to Ham. Put down after the kick by Webster. That will be worth a 50-metre penalty.
Just was a little break in play around the grounds from the boundary line here. The Swans have just hit the front against the Giants in the Battle of the Bridge.
So, where's the ball going to be brought now?
That's the longest 50 I've seen today. That's huge.
The mark is right on the edge of the centre square here. So about 60 out from home as Ham goes over the top. And how is that allowed to happen? Begley takes the mark, essentially unmanned. When you've got that much time to restructure up, Hilly, I'm not sure how that happens.
Well, unfortunately, as well, when the coaching staff looked back on this one, there was 2 players in the vicinity for Sandringham. They just did not pick him up.
So Josh Begley kicked one of those early goals in the game when the Bombers kicked 3 in a row to start it. This time he misses. 19-5, 119 are Essendon. Sandringham 6-4-40 as we approach time on of the final term.
One of the few Essendon forwards who hasn't gotten in on the goal-scoring party today, Josh Begley. Just the 1 goal, 2 for him as Rowe thumps it into a teammate's face. I think that might have been Carroll. Essendon able to mop up at the back though, and Guccione has it and finds Hocking, who went with the one hand, didn't bring it in. Begley through traffic beautifully, just parted the seas and finds Houlihan at left half forward. Approaching time on final term, 79-point lead for the Bombers, and they're looking to add to it. Just over the head of Bowman inside forward 50. Hill around a couple and just slams it out of there. Rowe does well. No. Blocking in the marking contest.
Didn't look to be much in that one.
Zerk Thatcher's free kick, and he goes inboard to D. They're just lining up now, the Bombers. Big mark taken at the back by the big ruckman, Riley Bowman.
He's got some really clean hands, as Bowman. He's taken a few nice grabs today. At that end of the ground too, with just getting into the right position when the ball...
Tynan Smith, in fact, Hilly.
Oh, sorry, apologise.
So, no, that was on me. I didn't recognise him. He's been really good today, Tynan Smith.
Oh, he's had a fantastic game. Another player. He's shown great hands. He's marking all game. It's been fantastic.
3 goals in the third and 1 in the fourth, as the Bombers bring up goal number 20 and extend that lead to 85 points. That's the biggest it's been all day. 25-125. Outstanding goal kicking, as we've mentioned a few times this afternoon. And Sandringham wallowing on 6-4-40.
And just, there's so many players to choose from for an interview after the game. For the
Who are you
Bombers.
leaning towards at the moment, Hilly?
Well, Myers has had nearly 40 touches. That's a phenomenal game in terms of leather poisoning. Did kick a fantastic goal as well.
Not too bad, is it?
And then you've got some other players that have just stood up in the forward line and kicked accurately. 3s and 4-goal performances. There's a wealth of players to choose from at the moment.
There might be a couple of Bombers out here today. AFL Bombers next week have a massive game at Marvel Stadium against the Western Bulldogs.
And I dare
There might
say
be a few players here at Windy Hill today that are playing next week against the Bulldogs.
I dare say there'll be a few changes from the senior lineup after today's poor performance against
We'll
Port
have the
Adelaide.
precursor at VFL level between the Bombers and the Bulldogs right here on VFL Live on Saturday afternoon. That's a good mark taken out there.
Tynan Smith again?
Yeah, it's Tynan Smith again. He is very clean. He's been impressive. Noah Gown's been impressive. Mark Bagley, even though he hasn't had a lot of touches, been fantastic.
He's got some good size about him here, does Smith. He gives himself a long run up trying to penetrate that wind. Goes fairly high. Houlihan flew. No mark was taken. Escaping with the ball ground level was the 23rd man for Sandringham in Callum Jones, but it's coming back in.
You'd swear it was the Bombers kicking with the breeze the way they're setting up.
Juggling mark is paid for Noah Gown. He doesn't want to shoot, at least initially.
This guy is really impressing me. He's had a great game. He's been so good above his head. He's taken everything.
If you're just tuning in and watching us on VFL.com.au and looking toward the left bottom of your screen and looking at that score, I can confirm at half-time the scores were level, if you can believe it. 5-3, 33 apiece was the score at half-time before the Bombers went bang 10 times in the third term unanswered. So Gown, I'm not sure what that was. It wasn't a shot. It wasn't a pass either. It was just a kick long and forward. Laverty, they don't argue, coughs up the ball. Fox, he coughs up as well. Cirque Thatcher won it back for the Bombers. Now Unan just had to try and work his way out of the phone box there, was under some pressure. Finally, Laverty hacks it forward, and Tynan Smith again.
Well, if he slots this one, would this be 5?
It would,
Yes.
Hilly.
Good haul.
Very good haul for the 23rd man.
How many marks has he taken today?
We'll get on to that.
Because it seems to me that he's had a wealth of footy.
Just the 4.
Just the 4. Okay. I thought he might have been approaching 7 or 8. So
For goal number 5, kicks on the way. Didn't like it off the boot. Sprayed it pretty badly. Didn't even register a score. Out of bounds on the full. Almost ended up in Essendon District Football League headquarters. Mayo takes the mark here for Sandringham. Tom Jockey's coming on for a pretty tired Dave Myers, who's had an outstanding game today. Kick goes down the line here. Bouncing ball just overrun there by Jones. Bounced away from him, in fact, in the end. Long one at back. D. Hand pass in board. Begley missed his target in Jock. Now, is that a free kick because the runner got in the way of the play?
yeah, I think so.
It is. Of course, at VFL level, runners are allowed out there in play, unlike the AFL. It's in the hands of Tynan, right in front of Glenn Hill, who could just about smother this ball if he felt like it. Not sure it would go down well with El Jefe, though, if he did.
Just trying to be involved.
Right on 50 here. Lazaro, that's off the boot, and bounds on the full. Off the side of the boot. So this one's just petering out, really.
Marsh to take the free. Joyce at the back. Got the knee up, but couldn't bring down the footy. Here's a chance for Zirk Thatcher. Doing it at the other end of the ground now. Begley at ground level. Laverde, in fact, around one and the other. Hacked out of mid-air by Smith. That's a man with confidence. But only as far as Hill inside the defensive goal square. Being played all inside Essendon's forward 50. The waning moments of this contest as Phillips tries to work it out by hand to Owens. Succeeded, but all comes unstuck at centre wing once again, and the Bombers can just slice and dice their way through this Sandringham defence. Into the goal square, Laverde had a couple to beat. The mark taken for Sandringham by Claverino.
That volley from Smith a few moments ago, it's very Eric Cantona-esque. One of the great Manchester United players from 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Halcyon days.
Certainly confident at the moment is Tynan Smith. You don't go trying that kind of thing if you haven't kicked 4 goals in a half. And there's a chance for John O'Hayden now for Sandringham, and they're able to get themselves over the centre line, but it's not really going to do much for them. Ball stuck in a pack.
Round of the grounds, we have a thriller at Arden Street. It's the Box Hill Hawks by a single point over North Melbourne, 10-10-70 to 10-9-69. That's 25 into the final term in that one.
Free kick advantage Essendon's way. Dixon has it at centre half back. Looking for Houlihan against a couple. Did well to get it to ground, and now Bagley tries to take them on. Risky. Unan needs to watch out. Didn't have prior opportunity though. Ball spills free, in fact, so that allows Answorth to get his hands on it, but eventually he's taken down as well.
In the other game at the Swinburne Centre, Richmond 8-5-53 are leading Casey 3-5-30. I don't think that's right, but
Kangaroos have
6-30. There you go.
hit the lead at Arden Street, Adam. They've just kicked a goal. 75 plays 70 now, 25 and a half minutes into that final term. And that one has big finals implications for the Box Hill Hawks, sitting in 8th at the moment. And if the Casey Demons are able to overcome Richmond in the final term of that one, they might just find themselves in 8th place if the Hawks go on to lose. So plenty of implications around the VFL this afternoon.
A string of back-to-back stoppages here. 4 games coming up tomorrow in the VFL. You can watch the Northern Blues take on Collingwood at Marvel Stadium on Channel 7. That game will kick off just before midday. Begley goes into attack. We'll check the other games out in a moment. Bagley shrugs off one potential tackler. Got to look at the sticks, but it's swinging back. And, well, did the umpire pay the mark before the ball arrived in the hands of Houlihan? I think he did.
And then called play on.
The umpire preempted the play.
You cannot do that if you've blown the whistle.
Well, the only assumption was there's a free kick while the ball's in flight, but
if you've blown the whistle and paid the mark, you cannot then call play on.
Not sure I've seen that before, Hilly.
That is a new one.
Bombers have been that good today. The umpire was just assuming it was going to happen. Free kick here for Sandringham. The other games, by the way, in the VFL, we'll come back to that. Hold that thought. Game over at Windsor Hill, and a stunning display by the Bombers. 20